Stop hitting at the golf ball and make sure you're hitting through the golf ball. Today I have for you an awesome exercise to really help you control the low point in your golf swing. Make sure you check it out. So today we're going to be talking about controlling the low point in your golf swing. That is literally, as it sounds, the lowest point the golf club is on our arc. And it should be happening after the golf ball. And many golfers who are trying to strike at the ball are thinking it's almost here by the time they strike it. The divot should be starting by the time I'm reaching the golf ball, maybe mid, maybe towards the front edge of the ball. But the lowest point of the golf swing, the deepest part of our divot, if I put my teeth in, should be ahead of the golf ball. Almost a club head's width is going to be our focus point here. And I was just starting with a simple exercise to help us shift our pressure correctly at the start of the downswing. Because shifting our pressure correctly into our lead foot is really going to help me deliver that low point after impact. So I've got two alignment sticks on the ground. One is just on the inside of my trail foot, and the other one is where my lead foot would actually be standing if I was setting up to this golf ball normally. So I'm going to start with my lead foot just slightly on the inside of that cane, make a backswing, and I'm going to step before I actually then deliver the club. And as I step, I'm going to make sure, so I'm going to get to the top, I'm going to step. As I step, I'm going to make sure I actually push a little bit more pressure down into the ground through that left foot for me, so my lead foot, before I start the downswing movements. This is really going to help. If you're someone who's struggling with the downswing sequence, using too much of their upper body, again, this exercise is going to work. I'm going to do it very broken down. Stop, step, hit. Then I perhaps would go into it where you actually step while you're still making a backswing. So as you're swinging back, you step that lead foot out. But we're just going to start with is a very broken down movement to help me shift my pressure into my lead foot. If I can get my pressure into my lead foot, it's really going to help me get that contact point, my lowest point of the golf swing being ahead of the golf ball. So let's do that drill again. So it was a real firm push into that lead foot. I see them doing this exercise. I'm not a baseball coach, but I see them doing this a lot in baseball coaching as well. So I may be wrong here, but I believe there is that big push onto their lead foot, almost in the transition as the bat goes back before it starts to swing through towards the target. We see this type of movement. Now, often in baseball, you then see them leaning back, but the first movement is that real push into their lead foot. And I've seen them doing this exercise, actually just this simple step drill using a couple of alignment canes like I'm doing here for golf. So we could get to the stage where we actually try and do it as one motion. You may find this harder, but actually as I'm swinging back, I'm going to step this lead foot out. Now I thinned that. That was not my best hit, but I still managed to make contact with the golf ball. I still managed to shift my pressure towards my lead foot. And that's the key part. And although it was thin, I know my low point of my golf swing was ahead of the golf ball. I'm exaggerating the move here a little. Many golfers are worried about when to shift. The majority of golfers wondering that are shifting way too late. So we should actually reach our maximum amount of pressure underneath our trail foot about 3/4 of the way back. And as our arms run onto the top of the backswing, the pressure should already be starting to move more towards the targets. The golfer's wondering it is shifting way too late. Let me see if I can strike one better doing that exercise. Okay. There we go. So you saw me step that lead foot out before I finished the backswing, so I'm already starting to get my pressure forwards. And that's really helping me control the low point of my golf swing and making sure that the low point is actually ahead of the golf ball. Now, we're not going to be perhaps moving our feet, although if you looked at World number one right now, Scotty Scheffler, you would see a lot of foot movement in the golf swing, and he hits it great. So if it works, it works. But where we're going to get the sensation is at the top of the backswing, start the downswing, or almost as my arms reach to 3/4 of the way back, shoulder height, I'm going to just start pressing a little bit of pressure forwards into that lead foot. Now, as I press into my lead foot, you'll see my pelvis is starting to move forwards towards the golf ball here that I've got outside my foot, so towards the target. I'm starting to interact with the ground by pressing down. My hips are starting to rotate. So it's very much a lower body first rather than upper body in this type of motion. I am pushing down into that lead foot. My lead knee is going back out to about the middle of my foot here. So it's kicked in slightly. It's now going back out to the middle of my foot. That's the feeling I'm going to try and get. And as just a focus point, something you might do on the driving range, now you could put this down to hit. I'm just going to put it just past and outside the golf ball. I'm just putting a T-peg, which for me in my head is going to represent the lowest point of my golf swing. So I'm going to be trying to strike the ball and get more, the deepest part of the divot actually more in line with the T-peg, which is ahead of the golf ball. This is a great exercise if you're someone who's struggling with heavy strikes, heavy contacts. So the feel that I could take to the course is going to be that I start the downswing by pushing into my lead foot. Okay, so really pressing down into that lead foot, getting the focus point of the lowest point of the golf swing, as I said, being past the golf ball, not at the golf ball. So if you're someone struggling with that, that may be exaggerating it, but give that a go. The feel you can take to the course isn't that complicated. It's just going to be that before we finish our backswing, we start pushing down into our lead foot, and it's really going to help you become a better, more efficient ball striker. So give those exercises a go. If they do help, if this video has helped, hit the thumbs up, share with as many golfers as you can, and don't forget to subscribe. Right now, YouTube are suggesting the next video of mine that's relevant for you is just here, so click on it and check it out.